Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, has never been the type to chase headlines or stir up drama, but if you look closely at what she has said, and even more importantly, what she has done, a very clear picture emerges when it comes to Meghan Markle. From her quiet reaction to the Oprah interview to the support she reportedly offered behind palace walls, Sophie's actions have spoken louder than any public statement ever could. When Meghan married Prince Harry and entered the royal family, Queen Elizabeth reportedly understood exactly how overwhelming that transition would be. Royal life comes with traditions, protocols, and expectations that can feel like a completely different world.
What this title means for Sophie, beautiful Sophie, is that she no longer has to curtsy to Meghan Markle, okay? In the line of succession, she no longer has to curtsy to Meghan Markle, okay? That is a booyah moment.
So the Queen made a very thoughtful choice. She asked Sophie to help Meghan, and that decision was significant. Sophie was not chosen simply because she was well-liked. She was chosen because she had lived the same experience. Like Meghan, Sophie married into the royal family as an outsider. She had to learn the rules, navigate the spotlight, and figure out how to fit into one of the most scrutinized institutions in the world. Her path was not perfect. She faced early setbacks, including the well-known 2001 media sting, but she recovered, earned trust, and went on to become one of the most respected members of the royal family.
The Fab Four reunion is being described today as a PR disaster after Meghan and Harry were given the cold shoulder at Westminster Abbey.
That is exactly why the Queen believed Sophie was the ideal person to guide Meghan. And by all accounts, Sophie took that role seriously. Reports say she spent hours with Meghan, answering questions and sharing what royal life is really like behind the scenes. She offered practical advice, personal insight, and the kind of honest support only someone with first-hand experience could provide. Sophie even gave Meghan her private phone number and encouraged her to call anytime, whether she needed guidance, reassurance, or simply someone who understood the pressure. The door was wide open.
Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. As we've heard this afternoon, this is the last time they will appear in public before stepping back as senior members of the...
Sophie appeared to believe this was the beginning of a genuine friendship and a supportive relationship within the family. But according to multiple reports, Meghan never followed up. There was no second meeting, no call, no message to continue the conversation or build on the connection. What Sophie thought was the start of an important bond reportedly ended after that first conversation. Still, Sophie did not close the door. Reports suggest she reached out more than once and remained willing to help, but Meghan reportedly chose not to take her up on the offer. Years later, Meghan explained her mindset in a remark that drew plenty of attention. "I have Harry. That's all I need." To supporters, that reflected confidence in her husband. To critics, it raised an obvious question. Harry could offer emotional support, but Sophie was offering something different, a roadmap from someone who had already navigated the exact challenges Meghan was about to face.
Speaking with The Telegraph recently, the couple joked, "Oprah who?" and "What interview?" in response to the fallout from the March TV special.
And turning away that kind of guidance may have been one of the most talked about decisions of Meghan's early royal years. So how did Sophie react after all of this? In classic Sophie fashion, she did not make a public fuss, but reports suggested she was more than ready to move on. After Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties, a source quoted by the Sunday Times claimed Sophie felt relieved by their departure. The report even said she was glad she no longer had to curtsy to Meghan. That is a striking comment, especially considering who Sophie is.
When the two were asked about the interview heard around the world, Prince Edward simply said, "Oprah who?" Sophie asked with a laugh, "What interview?" Ouch. But at the same time, Sophie spoke up to defend the Archbishop of Canterbury, who famously asked Oprah what she did for a living at Harry and Meghan's wedding. Sophie said, quote, if you're not into chat shows, there's no reason why you should know who she is. Certainly not in this country anyway.
She has long been known as one of the most composed, diplomatic, and steady members of the royal family. Sophie rarely appears rattled, and she almost never lets emotions spill into public view. So if that report was accurate, it suggested the relationship had become genuinely strained behind the scenes, and those early ignored offers of help may have played a role. Over time, what started as a promising connection appeared to cool significantly. By Commonwealth Day in March 2020, Harry and Meghan's final official engagement as working royals, many observers felt the atmosphere between Sophie and Meghan looked noticeably distant. The body language caught a lot of attention. During the service, Sophie appeared reserved and serious. Commentators pointed to her posture, her expressions, and several moments when she seemed focused elsewhere rather than engaging warmly with Meghan.
In case anyone needs a refresher on Harry and Meghan's infamous interview with Oprah that aired earlier this year, the couple claimed that the royal family did not support Meghan's request for mental health support.
Then came one of the most discussed moments of the day. At one point, Sophie and Meghan appeared to make eye contact. Some viewers interpreted Meghan's quick glance downward and fading smile as a sign of discomfort, while others saw it as a perfectly ordinary moment captured out of context. Either way, the clip fueled intense speculation. For royal watchers, it seemed to reflect a relationship that had changed dramatically from those early efforts to build a supportive bond. And the tension did not end there. As the group prepared to leave Westminster Abbey, Meghan moved across the seating area to catch up with William and Catherine, rather than departing alongside Sophie and Prince Edward. That brief moment drew fresh commentary online, with some critics arguing it looked awkward, and others saying it was simply a practical decision in a crowded setting.
Meghan Markle is in no way looking for your love or approval. According to The Telegraph's Bryony Gordon, the royal says she is not seeking people's affection and, quote, doesn't want people to love her. She just wants them to be able to hear her.
She's even looking to distance herself from royal protocol and formalities when on official royal outings.
But by then, many people had already reached their own conclusions. The woman the Queen personally chose to help Meghan had reportedly done everything she could. And by the final public appearance, the warmth that once seemed possible appeared to be long gone. The tension between Sophie and Meghan became one of the most talked about royal storylines, and after Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah Winfrey, Sophie and Prince Edward were asked for their reaction. Their response instantly made headlines. When reporters asked about the interview, Edward replied, "Oprah who?" Sophie followed with a dry comment of her own in a later interview with The Telegraph. If you're not into chat shows, there's no reason why you should know who she is. It was classic Sophie, calm, understated, and impossible to miss. Many royal watchers saw the remark as a subtle response to Meghan's earlier claim that she had not researched Harry or the royal family before their relationship.
So apparently, Sophie is married to Prince Edward. Well, she was upgraded from the Countess of Wessex to the Duchess of Edinburgh. Okay, she got a little bit of a promotion. This is a big deal. But let me tell you why it's important. So both Queen Elizabeth and Queen Camilla previously held this title. But what this title means for Sophie, beautiful Sophie, is that she no longer has to curtsy to Meghan Markle.
Whether intentional or not, the timing certainly caught people's attention. Sophie also offered a revealing reflection on her own experience joining the monarchy. In a 2020 interview, she said it took her about 5 years to fully find her footing as a working royal. She explained that adjusting to royal life was a gradual process, and that no one can know exactly how things will unfold at the start. That comment resonated with many observers. Unlike Sophie, Meghan stepped back from royal duties after roughly 2 years, which led some commentators to draw comparisons between the two women's very different journeys. Even so, Sophie remained publicly diplomatic. After Harry and Meghan's departure, she said, "I just hope they will be happy, and we all try to help any new member of the family." And with that one measured statement, Sophie managed to be gracious, loyal, and quietly revealing all at once. One of the biggest debates in this story is simple. Was help offered to Meghan? And if so, did she accept it? According to multiple reports, the answer is yes. Queen Elizabeth personally asked Sophie to help Meghan adjust to royal life. Sophie reportedly offered practical advice, emotional support, and an open invitation to stay in touch whenever Meghan needed guidance. But by many accounts, that support was never fully taken up. That point has become especially notable because Meghan later said she felt she was navigating royal life without enough help. Critics argue that assistance was available. Supporters counter that being offered help and feeling genuinely supported are not always the same thing. What is clear is that the mentoring relationship never developed the way many expected, and the consequences were significant. Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties after a relatively short time, while Sophie and Prince Edward continued to strengthen their roles within the monarchy. In 2023, Edward was granted the Duke of Edinburgh title, and Sophie became the Duchess of Edinburgh, a role that reflected the trust and respect they had earned over many years of service. That development was widely seen as recognition of their steady contribution to the royal family, and it also underscored the contrast between two very different royal paths. Sophie never gave dramatic interviews or publicly criticized anyone. Instead, she offered help, stayed discreet, and carried on with her duties. For many royal watchers, that quiet approach said more than any headline ever could. So, what do you think? Was Sophie simply being gracious, or did her actions send a powerful message without saying very much at all? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.